Hello everybody, hello, welcome to part 4 of the 12 days of Christmas. I hope you are well. I hope you've had a good day today. Have you been to the sales? Have you done any sales shopping? It's so tempting, isn't it? I think we do get the point to a point of saturation with shopping. If you're anything like me, I kind of avoid it. I did my one day of shopping a couple of days before Christmas and I felt that was enough. But we're all different, aren't we? We're all different. Anyway, welcome to part 4 of the 12 days of Christmas. We're doing very well, I have to say. We're on schedule, which is good. It means I might have planned it right. So it's lovely to see you. I can see all your names coming through here now. Let's have a quick look. We've got Maggie. I'll just move my screen a little bit. There we go. Sorry, just fiddling away here. All right, Debbie, have you been to 20 Garden Centre? 20 Pence Garden Centre. Yes, I take my dad there. Well, one Saturday in every month, I think I take him. I hope you mean 20 Pence. Yeah, I know where you mean. If that's the one you mean. Wilburn. Good evening, Jeanette. Hello, Paula. A good day at work today. Just reduced some goodies. Oh wow. How do you send stars? Good question, Melba. Perhaps somebody else can answer that for you. I think you have to sign up for something, don't you? I can't remember now. It was just something that appeared on my feed here and I'm just ignoring it for the time being. Thank you for asking though. Hello to Cindy, to Nicola. Yes, Wilburton. Yeah, it's lovely there. My dad likes it, which is the main thing, isn't it? What else can we see here? Oh, got some reduced food goodies from M&S. You can't beat reduced food from M&S. On my way to my father's on a Tuesday and a Saturday, I have an M&S going and an M&S coming back. Depending if I go, I usually come back the Fen route, which is really wonderful for the soul. It's very mindful, it's lovely, and the skies are amazing. And I will go that way home, in which case I don't pass an M&S, I pass a Co-op. Perfectly fine. But going, I pop into the M&S on the way, oh sorry, Millie's barking, along the A14 there, and I get his paper. He does like the Saturday Times. Yes, no good getting anything else. I don't get him a paper on a Tuesday, just a Saturday. So, and he loves it. Hi Daryl, yes me too, I'm looking forward to it too. I always look forward to it, it's lovely. And I do enjoy our time together. Hello Violet, hello Patsy, Elaine, hello Catherine. That's okay. What does this mean? Sorry Liz, I haven't been able to join you before tonight as I have been tonight. Tonight is the perfect day to start because we'll cover a bit of old ground. Not much because I've got other things to show you tonight. Hello Anne, hello Judy, Judith, Linda, how lovely to see you all. Hello to Dawn as well. Now then, if you're watching on YouTube, I haven't had huge views on YouTube, so probably just as well I'm not live on there, but it is a recording and it was recorded about an hour and 15 minutes before you actually watch it tonight, which is Friday, the 29th of December. Watch any time, it doesn't matter, does it? Unfortunately I can't live stream to YouTube at the moment, but I'm planning 2024 I will conquer this wretched technology business. I had it set up perfectly fine, and then my software had an upgrade. I think I could do with an upgrade. Does anybody else wish they could have an upgrade? Right, let's move on. Let's move on, let's have a quick look and see what our viewers are like tonight. Let's have a look. Well, we've got 84 so far watching, which is not too shabby. Thank you very much. I'll keep an eye on that because it's interesting to see how many people tune in. Hi Anna. looking forward to tonight, hoping to join your group in the new year. Well, you're in for a treat, Anna. It is a rather lovely place to be. And obviously I'm a little bit biased, but we do have a lot of fun. And I do things all the time in the group. So pretty much, if the group members say any different, then I will be stood corrected. Judith says she's first in line for an upgrade. Oh, Catherine, sorry, I meant away, not tonight. Yes, I get what you mean now. You're at home or you're not gadding about. Oh dear me. Thank you to all of the people that bought me a coffee today. It was lovely. I had lots of coffee. I did swap a few cups of coffee for chocolate and cake. I hope you don't mind that. Oh dear. Thank you, Lynn. Right, let's get going. Let's crack on. I would rather have a reset. 20 year would be good. Oh, Nicola. 20. Now, what would I be? 47. 47. Can't think what I was doing at 47. I was probably still working full time. Yes, I was a BT engineer for quite a few years. I didn't go down holes and I didn't go up poles, but I sent people to do just that. Go up that pole. Well, actually it was more than that, but anyway, you don't need to know about that. Okay, so let's have a little recap here. This is the one that we're finishing off tonight, and I've got something else to show you as well, which I hope you'll find interesting, because it's all about applique. This is the one that we're going to start tomorrow, which is the tall flower, and this one is about 15 inches high, so obviously this is not to scale, but it's quite a big one, which actually you'll probably find quite easy because it's bigger. Yeah, it's not as fiddly as this one, because this one you could think, well, that's a bit fiddly because there's lots of bits. There is quite a lot of bits to it. The tulip, the three-headed tulip, that is going to be, oh, let me have a look at my chart, because I have a chart. Let's bring it over. That is day 6 and 7, because we've got some interesting things to do with that. And, oh, we've got that one in between. Oh, that's 6 and 7, that's right. Now, because we've done that before, I will probably already have fused that down onto my backing, but I'll probably machine it with you and then we'll definitely do that one. I think with this one, I might be hard pushed to get it done in 2 nights, just to do it justice, but we'll see how we get on. We can always shift these things around a little bit, so it's no bother. Okay, so this is what we're finishing off tonight. So this is day 3 and 4, and we're at 4. So we'll be covering that, and then we go up to the tall flower, and then we come down to this bit. So we'll see how we get on. But like I say, oh, you've just come from London to Hull, just drove back, right? Yeah, that's a fair old drive, isn't it? What about? I suppose it's about 3 hours, is it? Perhaps 2.5 hours, 3 hours to Hull. Quite like that bit of coastline, actually. Yes, so we'll have it having a look at that in a little while. So there's the tall flower, you've got the three-headed tulip, and obviously you've got the scalloped flower. Now then, if you've gone to the website today, you will know that I have put these two on as a collective PDF. In other words, you've got 6. You've got 18 petals, and I want you to notice that these petals are the same. This petal has been flipped, okay? So when you look at the PDF, you'll notice that there's 6 petals that are flipped, and that's quite intentional. So you get the 18 flowers, you get the 6 leaves. And obviously you get the stalks, and it does pretty much fill a sheet. With the three-headed tulip, you've got exactly the same. You've got 3 of the centres, you've got 6 of the outer petals, and then you've got the 3 pairs of leaves. So those are as a PDF. When it comes to these other ones, when you look at the actual printout, you know, that absolutely fills a sheet. There was nothing I could give extra to that. So you've got 4 petals, so I mean, I suppose I could have fit 4 petals on there, but quite honestly, that's not going to take too much to trace and cut. So I left that. And likewise with this one, you've got pretty much a full page. And if you remember, I flipped that now because that was the wrong way round. I thought I'd flipped it and obviously I hadn't. So it pretty much fills a page, as I say. And I think, apart from the leaf, you've got, you know, you've got everything on there. So yes, maybe I could fit a leaf on there, but I think you're perfectly capable of tracing one leaf. So that's really, I think, complete now. I can't think of anything else that we might cover that you'll need anything of, but if we do, I'll make sure you have it, okay? Because that's what we do. Okay, so that's our sort of, and I need this design for tonight. So let's get, it would be the last one, wouldn't it? And let's get that out of the way. So we got so far last night, if you remember, and I posted pictures in daylight so we could see a little bit better the design. Let's just get rid of some of the bits. My mark still hasn't gone, and I actually washed that little bit. Still hasn't gone, so I don't think it matters. We're going to do quilting, so it'll disappear over a period of time. That's obviously the one that we've completed with the flowers, so I can put that to one side, and we can hopefully tomorrow night we can start building up some of the actual blocks, start putting them together a bit more. So we're going to do this flower and this flower tonight, and I'll use my applique mat as I did last night to build up the flowers, because that seemed to work very well, and a lot of you seem to have the applique mat. It wouldn't be fair if none of you had one. So I think it's if you've got one, let's use it. So I've got my bottom piece to put on there, same as the other one. That's going to go, if I look at the design, sorry, the quilt, hold on a sec. Yeah, it's going to go on the bottom there, like that one. And if you remember, we talked about this last night. It was Julie that did the strips on there. It looked lovely. And I'm thinking, I'm pretty much there with my thinking. I'm thinking of doing piano key border, which I think would be quite nice. And I would make it 4.5 inches. I think it's quite a nice width. But you can stick to the 1 inch and the 2 inch. But we'll talk about that when we get to the borders. So I've got my piece ready, and I've got my little petals ready, and all we need to do is to make sure that I use, because what I want to do is stick to the plan. So you're a little bit zoomed in, but I think we'll be okay. So if we look at the plan, and it's such a good idea to follow this, because it does give you a good idea of where to place everything, because these petals have points and they have a rounded end, so you want to make sure you don't put the points on the outside. For instance, it would be easy to do, so we want to make sure that we get the right petals to the right shape here, you see. And like with this one, we've got the petals going the other way, which is like that, so you can see how that looks with that one, yeah, hopefully. Good. And what we'll do is, what we did last night was to lay this on top of our applique mat and work through it. It worked very well last night. So I'm going to just move things away. I need my 12-inch mat. And we might as well build up the 2 flowers at the same time. So, sorry, I'm fiddling and faffing here. There we go. Now I know you can't see that. Oh, it's not too bad. You can see that quite well. So all we need to do is place our flowers, our petals down to match the design. So the first one, yeah, can see that. So I can just place it on the edge and let it fall. Well, when I say fall, you know, it'll find its own way. So don't forget the points go to the middle. And then again, let's put it on the edge there This is where I meant to have got my tweezers. Excuse me. And use your pokey tool there to shift it about a bit. Oh, excuse me, I'll just have a little drink of my Pepsi. That's better. Turn my phone off, that's it. The thing is, and I know I shouldn't do it, and I did it the other night, I had some chocolate with nuts in it. And it's fatal, isn't it? It's absolutely fatal. You're bound to have a nut stuck in your throat. There we go. Let's move that along. So using the pokey tool or a pair of tweezers is ideal for this, because with tweezers you can get hold of this nicely and pop it down. There we go. And you'll find if you do use the printing method that I talked to you about last night, you'll find that your cuts are far more accurate than if you traced. There we go. Now if you hear anything, if you hear the doorbell, if you hear the dog barking, it's because we're expecting Tesco's. I had to book a slot yesterday and there weren't that many available, so I had to go for an 8 till 9, and he does like to come early, which is fine, except it's all very noisy. It's like we live in a tiny little cottage, the amount of noise you can hear. So do you see how accurate that is? I'm really loving it. So I'm going to switch my iron on, and we might as well do the other one while we're here. So again, and of course, as I've explained to you before, I find heat and bond much easier to use than Bond-O-Web, but Bond-O-Web is preferred by like textile artists and people like that who do a lot of this type of work, because it's a thinner fusible webbing, whereas heat and bond tends to be a little bit more gluey, if that's such a word. Nicola says she found her tweezers last night a lot easier to move the little pieces. Yes, absolutely, Nicola. I totally agree. Totally agree. But I do find my stiletto works as well, or as good as. So it's just a case of placing them down and letting them fall, really. And that's looking great. I've got Millie under the table. So if my machine suddenly starts up, you know she's sitting on the foot control. But she'll have to shift in a minute. You wait, when the Tesco man comes, she'll run down that stairs like a mad thing. That'd be fun, won't it? So don't forget, when you use this method of building up, I said last night, it's a bit reminiscent of making like a badge. You're going to put, I mean, these are such small flowers, you can't help but put the whole iron down onto your mat. And you're going to melt that glue and bond those pieces together. So wherever they're touching, they will bond together. They'll also, it'll not stick to the mat, but obviously the glue is melting and sitting on the silicone mat. And ideally, you're going to wait for it all to cool before you lift up. And I'm just erring on the side of caution. I'm just tapping. There's no need to do your weekly laundry by moving this like that. Just hold down and let that glue melt. And hopefully that's done. So this is now really hot. So what we'll do is we'll take the paper away. We'll take the wool mat away, because that's a really good conduit for for heat. And I'll just start peeling these off. Now, like I said last night, it's best to leave these to cool. This isn't too bad now. I've put it on a cool desk, so we should be okay. So there's one. I'll just put that on my little piece ready. It's quite satisfying to take them all off in one hit. There we go. Yeah, super. Super, super. Lovely job. put that down there. Yeah, so what I want to talk to you about tonight, in a little while, is other methods of applique, and what perhaps, well, one method particularly, and what that would look like and how you would achieve it. Oh, it looks really lovely. So now we're going to fuse that down. So don't forget just to overlap a little bit, no need to go crazy and cover up that lovely stem that you stitched. You could of course stitch each petal individually like we did with this technique, that we did one each individually and then layered it up. Of course you can. So I'll just allow that to adhere, even though that's not on. I think we're still hot enough. I'll just do it again just to make sure. And I think we're ready to stitch. Now then, have you changed your needle? Have you actually put a new needle in your machine today? We haven't done huge amounts of stitching, and you may not have done as much as me particularly, but with free motion embroidery it's really nice to have a nice brand new sharp needle in your machine, because you're going through multiple layers. So it's good to have the sharpness of, as I say, of a new needle. Okay, so I'm going to bring my machine in. I've got it set up for free motion. I'm going to make sure that the camera isn't too near. Get rid of some of my gubbins. Okay, and I'll just put you on the side camera there. Let's see. Oh, that's okay. I think perhaps where we were last night, aren't we? I'll just bring it in a little bit. There we go. I think that's not too bad at all. Let's bring it a bit more. That's it. Okay, so usual thing. I'm not going to tell you huge amounts about free motion embroidery because I'm doing a workshop on the 14th of January. So if you want to learn more, then please join the workshop. But I'm telling you enough tonight for you to be able to go ahead with your machine and do free motion. Don't worry about how scruffy it looks or how untidy you think it is. Just go with the flow. Try to enjoy the process. Oh, Millie, you're right on my foot. Thank you. Let's just move it. I'm not sure how I'm going to be able to machine, but we'll give it a go. Yeah, so go with the flow, see how you get on. Don't get too panicky about it. And as I said yesterday, if you don't get on with free motion, then find something else to do. All of these could be hand stitched. I mean, you could do a fantastic running stitch. All you're doing is making sure that the fabric is attached to your background. It is with the heat and bond, whatever you're using, but if it was to go into the wash, you might find that you lose one or two bits, or it starts to lift. It's not ideal. Okay, so we're just going to do what we did last night and just carry on. So, as I said, I'm set up for free motion. I've got my open toe foot on, and as I've said before, and I'll just repeat it one more time, you've got the option perhaps in your machine to have a closed toe foot where the needle goes right down to the centre there, and you've got that view, I suppose, within that circle. I do quite like the open toe because I can see where I'm going, a bit like I talked about the other foot. But I think it's horses for courses, and you might find that this is a better foot for you. I think it's just a case of try it and see, and it might be that you only got a closed toe foot, and that's perfectly fine, okay? There's no rules with any of these sort of things. Now I do tend to, depending on what I'm doing, but I do tend to start with the needle down, and I will do just a couple of little stitches on the spot just to secure that thread. And then I can snip it away, and then it doesn't get in the way, and it doesn't get sort of bird nested onto my piece. So let's have a look. Is that a little bit better? So it's just a case of relaxing with it really, which I know is easy for me to say, but it really is, and you will notice that my hands are very relaxed. I mean, you could put this into an embroidery hoop, that'll help you, but sometimes an embroidery hoop will stretch your fabric, so do be careful with whatever fabric you're using. And then we're just going to start off, and you'll see, look, I'm hardly pushing my fabric at all. But what I'm doing, I'm keeping an eye on the edge of my fabric. And I don't think my iron was hot enough because that's lifting. So yeah, so I'm just keeping an eye on the edge of the fabric. I'm trying to follow the edge. I suppose I'm about a 1/16 of an inch away from the edge of the fabric there. So, you know, I'm not right on the edge. And what I'll do afterwards is to put the hot iron on it again, and it'll bond down again if it's lifting. Now if you want, you can move your your fabric to a position that suits you. You might find that every flower you want facing you like this, or you might find going sideways like a crab. Perfectly suitable. Let's go sideways. Oh, let's do it. Again, all I'm doing is following the line of the petal. I'm not doing anything fancy. I'm obviously having to move the fabric to make the stitches. If I was to move this fabric more quickly, I might break a needle, but I might get a really long stitch. Well, that's fine. If that was what you wanted to achieve, that's absolutely fine. So then we could go back to putting the flower right in front of you, and you can do it again. Now I'm going round twice, but you could go round once. You could go round 3 times, which is probably the most commonest thing to do. Gives a density of stitch, and also if you're very, very wriggly, which I know some of you might well be, then going around 3 times is actually very good, because it almost looks like it was intentional sketching. So I would say if you're all wriggly, do go round 3 times, and by the time you've done 16 flowers you'll be a pro. Either that, or you'll unpick the lot and stitch by hand, or find a decorative stitch. But these are quite small petals, so I mean, obviously you've got all the time in the world, so you could do a decorative stitch on this, find one that suits you. Could be anything. On my other machine that I use, my other Juki, I've got what they call vintage stitches or something, and they've got like cross stitch and stuff like that. Well, that would be quite nice. So all of these things that we do are down to experimentation, aren't they? I mean, you might not make another one of these. It might be you do the one and obviously that's enough. But you could do one, absolutely love it, and make a second and incorporate some of the things that we've talked about. Looks nicer using the silicone mat, and wish I'd now used it. Well, use it for next time, or do just a little 10-inch and 10.5-inch block and do one of these flowers, Marion, and make it into a little cushion for somebody for next Christmas. Okay, so we're going to go around the circle. I never break my thread, I just hop over. So you one stitch and you hop. And then I'm going to do what I did last night, which is go round twice. This time I'm going clockwise. Last night I went anti-clockwise. I never feel quite so comfortable with that. And then I went into the middle and I did a swirl. So I'll do the same. So you've just got to imagine the swirl. If you can't, draw it and follow your drawn line. Okay. Ooh, got a tiny little thread there. Hold on. I haven't got my ooh, look at that. Hold on. I don't know if you can see this. I got like a millimetre in the needle. Let me take that away. Put my foot down. Is that the TV I can hear, or is it the Tesco man? There's a lot of noise coming from downstairs. Right, if I get hold of that, hold on guys, if I had my tweezers handy, I would be getting my tweezers. Oh yes! Okay, so panic averted. So there is that second flower. Looks a bit clearer than the first one, doesn't it? I suppose it depends which part of the little bit of variegation that I'm using, but I quite like that swirl. So if we were to, so if I get my heat eraser bowl, which is here, let me get my mat. Push that away a sec, because I want to show you this. Hopefully the light is good enough. So obviously if you wanted to, you could draw yourself a line. Now be careful with your fabrics, because some will leave a ghost line, okay? They like batik particularly. Do test your fabrics out with a little scrap. I have known for the ghost lines to wash out. Again, you could test that. But what I'm doing here is just showing you that you could draw yourself a line of where you're going to stitch. So I'll just finish doing that, and then I'll see. I think you can see that okay. I know the light's not brilliant, but in here it's like, you know, Blackpool illuminations, but in it's better if I face it to the light. You can see what I've drawn. And then if you're thinking of going into the middle, obviously you need your circle, so draw that, and then just extend the tail around, and that's what you can follow. So let me show you. Oops, I'm trying to do it so it catches the light better. There you go. So draw it, why not? I mean, you're not going to, I mean, to be actually, now look, there's a good point. Hold on, I've just had a thought. Let me just get myself sorted. So, sorry about the camera. Okay, so let's go around this flower, and I'll say what I was going to say. Now I've done this in my group where we've used embroidery transfers and all sorts of things to do stitching with. Okay, and one of the things that we have done is to use a mark-on pen. Is it a mark-on pen? A black pigment ink pen. It will come to me, the name. Is it Macron? Anyway, and drawn a line and stitched on the line. You can hand stitch or machine stitch. And I'm thinking what you could do, if you think this is not going to get washed, you could use your fine liner pen and actually draw in a stitch line, like just, you know, like you would if you were a card maker. You would draw a dotted line, wouldn't you, or a dashed line around a card if you've ever done paper crafting. And you can do the same with a fine liner pen. They're permanent, and it will look like you stitched. And all I'm saying is, it won't come. That pen mark won't come out in the wash, but your petals might. Do you know what I mean? So I think use with caution. But certainly it's something that you can do. And in fact, I've just had another brilliant idea, as these things happen in my head. You could go around each of the designs with a fine liner, with a little sort of stitch line, you know, that you've drawn yourself, and just create some interest. Why not? I mean, I've got the most, well, my members know that I've got the most amazing set of glitter pens. I don't make them anymore, and of course I use them for practically everything till they run out, and then I'll have to find another make. So you can see, hopefully, that I'm following the line. If I bring it, you can see the line there just about, so I can use that as my guide. So if you're a bit wriggly, maybe that's what you could do. But you could just do one of these 10.5 inch square as a tester to see if you like applique. You could just do one and then put it in, as I say, on a bag or on a cushion front. Now I'm stitching really slowly, and I never stitch slowly. I stitch really fast, but I want you to see, I want you to feel the rhythm. And I'm just in my happy place because this is my favourite thing to do. And I'm always disappointed when I finish because I always want to do more. Okay, so now I'm going into the, is that yellow line on your machine tape? Yes, it's a tape because, and I've explained this before, the needle on my dookie does not sit in the centre of the hole, which means that my 1/4 inch is always out. Even if I use a 1/4 inch foot, it's always out because my needle doesn't sit in the centre. Okay, I can have that fixed, but you know, that means sending it off, and I use it every day. So I'm kind of waiting for that moment where I think, no, I really need to get it done, because you can have it realigned. So I'm using that line again that I've drawn to follow, and then I'm going to use that line again, what I've drawn, to do my swirl. So if I wasn't confident with my drawing, my stitching, freestyle, then I can just follow the line. There we are. And there, that's what it looks like. Now let's get it so you can see it, hopefully, in the light. So they look really nice, don't they? And obviously, when you're looking at yours under natural light or whatever, yours will look amazing as well. Okay. So I need to get the iron on that because you can hardly see the drawn lines. Let's bring it right in. You can hardly see the drawn lines, but they're still lurking there underneath, so they need to come out. So let's just move the machine. Let's pop the iron on. And let's move you guys to the overhead. And let's just... Millie's tail is right underneath my chair. Just moving my machine out of the way a little bit. Okay, so let's give this an iron. And of course, don't forget we've got that stabiliser on the back. Now I want to know from all of you guys that have been doing this, how have you found putting a stabiliser on versus not putting a stabiliser on? Have you noticed the difference? Have you tried it? Let me know what you think, because it's important that you feed back to me how you feel about it. Now with putting that heat on, first of all I've lost those lines, and secondly it's re-adhered my glue. So if I bring that right up, I'll slant it slightly to the light. All those black lines have gone and I'm just left with the stitching. So I think that looks okay. So the next thing is we can take some of this out. So you'll have seen me do this before, so I'll do a little bit. Just get your seam ripper, your quick unpick, go around the edges, put the ball of your seam ripper to your fabric, and then you just literally, it's just very mindful because you just, oh, Millie's just gone, hurrah, because you just follow the lines of your stitching, and you do not have to take every piece out. But what you don't want is a very stiff piece of applique on your quilt. I suppose it depends how you're going to use it. If you're going to use it as a wall hanging, it matters not. But if you're going to have it over your knees in the car or on a picnic or whatever, you want it to be soft. So I would probably spend the time and take all of those inner leaves out. You don't need it now. It's not doing anything. It's now redundant. So it can come out. And if you want to spend a happy evening, you know, tearing all this out, then please do. Which reminds me, of course, you can tear it. But it would make your stitches quite vulnerable. and you might end up pulling your stitches. So I would use something like this, or a sharp little pair of scissors is really good. Now I use 505 to stick mine down, so it never really wants to allow me to put my unpicker in there very easily. So just turn that over. So I'm not going to do it all, don't worry. I'm just showing you roughly, and you can just tear it away. There we go. Look, so how easy is that? So you can sit in front of the TV. I'm sorry about all my mess. I'm not bothered about it. It's white fabric, so obviously you want to be careful that you're not. I don't know where I've got brown thread from. Oh, is it from the? I know it's from the variegated leaf thread. That's it. Okay. Yeah. So because it's white fabric, you do want to take some of the darker threads away if you've got darker threads. The other thing I wanted to do, which I'll see if I've got time for, is to put some more stitching on these leaves, to put some veins in, because I thought they looked a little plain, so we do need to do that, and also we need to attach our bottom piece. But before we do that, I want to show you something. This is something extra that we're not doing for this particular sort of 12 days of Christmas, but it's something, let's turn it that way, there's something that you can try. Now I've got my light box here, so it's going to look a bit weird on screen, okay? And what I want, I'll just cover it up for a moment, what I want is this. So I want to show you something. So I'm just going to take this out. Oh goodness, sorry, lots of bits of paper. So this is the placement guide, yeah? And this is layers of fabric. And if I look over the top of it, you can't see it, but let me just take these layers away. Oh yeah, I think we can just about see it now. I wonder if that can go up, yeah, it can go up a bit brighter. Yeah, you can see it now. So if I get my heat erasable pen, what I want to do is just trace some of these bits and pieces. I'm not going to do a huge amount, but this is called reverse applique. Now I'm doing it on this particular design because it's nice bold shapes, and it will give you an idea. This is where I wish I could put my head right over the top. It'll give you an idea of something else you can do. Not necessarily for what we're doing this, as I say, these 12 days of Christmas. Sorry if I'm looking a bit odd in the front there, but I'm just trying to see. Oh, got it now. Got it now. Yeah, something that you might want to try another time, and it's called reverse applique. So all I'm doing is drawing the shape of my flower. I suppose I could do the stem as well. I don't know how that will work, but we'll put that in just as a design feature. I might stitch it, I might not. Okay, so you can just about see, I'm peering at the screen so I can see what you're seeing. So if I take the paper away, oh, you can see I've traced that, and I've traced this scalloped edge here, okay? So I'm going to turn this off now. That's it. I didn't want that glaring in you anymore. So this is where we then get our layers, and we pop them over the top of our fabric like that. And make sure that all your layers are sitting together and aren't going to wriggle. So pin or tack. Hello, has anybody done any tacking since they were at school? Oh, we had to tack everything, didn't we? It didn't matter what you were making, whether it was a skirt or an apron or a teddy bear or something like that. We had to tack. It's crazy. But it has its uses. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll free motion around here just because I've got the foot on, and I'll be quite quick with it, and then I'll show you how that works. Now because excuse me, because we've drawn the line, I'm going to use that as my guide for stitching, not for cutting. Okay, so that's going to be my stitch line, and what we cut is going to be slightly different in size. So let me just manoeuvre you in again. I get all this stuff all over my mat and you can't see a lot of it. But it's essential stuff. Screwdrivers. What maker pens do I use, Maggie? Well, these are friction pens. You can get them from Sainsbury's, you can get them from Amazon. Other companies do them as well, you know. But yeah, friction. Remove by friction. And in actual fact, that little bobble on the end, it causes heat when you rub it on what you've drawn, and you can remove lines using that by just with friction. They weren't designed for fabric. It was I think it was just a happy accident that somebody found out you could use them on fabric. So you do have to test all the time whether your fabric can handle it. Okay, so needle down, foot down. And now Millie's gone, I can move my foot to a better position. And I'm just going to free motion this. So I just lock my stitches in place. And this design that I showed you, this one, is kind of quite perfect for this. So let's just whiz round. Oops. Let me do this so I've got a bit more of a hold on it. So whiz round your shape. I'm not making a very good job of this, but try and follow your lines. And you can, if you want, go round again. You can do exactly what you would do with regular applique. You could go round, can you see? You could go round twice if you want. Let's do it. Let's go crazy. You don't have to follow your lines. I mean, I'm quite good at following my lines, but if you go off-piste, then that just adds to the interest, doesn't it? So now don't pull your fabric too hard because you'll break a needle, she says in her school marmy voice. So now we're going to go round the flower. So a few little stitches, make it 4 or 5 stitches so it's anchored, and then we're just going to whiz around. Now obviously you don't have to do this free motion, you can just do this with your regular foot. And as I got it set up for free motion, I thought I might as well. And this is where drawing really helps your stitching. Because you've got a guideline. Do you remember at school when you had to learn how to write? And we'll just keep that as one row. When you learned how to write, you had to write over the top of letters. I can't remember exactly what you had to do, but you had to trace the letters, didn't you? To learn how to write. Well, this is exactly the same. Oh, I've just unthreaded my needle. Low. Hold on a sec. Let's put you to the front because I'm not very good at doing this when everybody's looking. Which of course you are. Now I always lower the foot on my machine, which obviously gets you tension with your thread. Okay, that's not going to move. You can see I'm pulling, it's not going to move. So do get yourself a bit of length before you do that. But it gives you a bigger space to put your hand to thread your needle. And my cotton is wonky, so let's try and get it through. I had such bother with this before, so I was hoping I didn't have to do this. But this machine sometimes jumps with the thread. I don't know why, but it does. It jumps, and sometimes it's when you cut the threads. I'm just going to move the machine. Sorry guys. Talk amongst yourselves. Yes, when you press the foot down to cut the threads, it kind of jumps the thread and then it de-threads itself. Is that a word? De-threads. Unthreads. Right, okay, let's start again. Right, let's put you back. Now I've got over my needle threading saga. So I'll just go up the stem here a bit. I'm not going to cut it this time. I'm just going to go with it and ignore it. Okay, let's cut it now. So I'm just showing you this just as the stem as an example, okay? It's not meant to be anything spectacular. So I'm just following the stem up. I'm going to go where my flower was, come down again. You'll do a better job if you try this technique than me. I'm just rushing, basically. So let's quickly put you on the overhead. Okay, move this machine out of the way. Okay, I'll take the pins out now, and obviously you would do the whole flower or whatever you decide to do. Maybe it's just going to be a load of leaves, I don't know. It's whatever design you come up with yourself, or maybe you'll do this particular design. I think it's got potential, so you know, don't dismiss it. I'll just get rid of those blue lines on there, my pen. So that's the stitching. So now it's just a case of cutting, and ideally I did have a different pair of scissors, which of course have gone. But you want a sharp pair of embroidery scissors, basically, and all you want to do is to lift that first layer, because underneath here, yep, we're okay, underneath here would be your first layer or your second layer. But what you want to do is think about what colours you want and cut away those layers. So maybe I've got 4 layers here, so, and I just happen to have the first layer as green. So really I'm not going to be cutting much away, and you could use your applique scissors, if your duckbill scissors, to get right in there. So I'm just doing this as a sort of a rough, so you get the idea. And this is called reverse applique now, because we've gone back into the design, yeah? In fact, I've got something somewhere. Now, where is it? Somewhere. Oh, here. I will show you this little bit of art in a moment. Okay. And if you wanted to, you could go down again. So I need a really fine pair of embroidery scissors, which of course have gone missing. So I'm just going to rip my fabric so I can get my scissors in. Now this, you may have a darker coloured green underneath, maybe. You could have, I don't know, I've got pink, but because that's the first colour I got hold of before. You can just cut this away like that. Okay, and then oh, that looks really nice. And then you could put your machine over that and you could stitch that down. It would need stitching because obviously we've made a pocket, but you could actually stitch that down and that would be a real feature. Okay, so this is reverse applique. So the same could be done for the stem. So you've got to be careful you don't go down a layer you don't want to go down. And you want tiny embroidery scissors for this, really sharp and pointy, yeah? So and don't forget your stitches are there to hold your fabric in place, so you can go quite close. Yeah, I'm doing this quickly, so I'm not going as close as I perhaps would normally. It depends on how decorative you want it to be, and whether you want to see a really frayed edge or you want to get it really tight. So you would do more than this, what I've done. So there's your branch, and again you might want to reveal some of that pink. So it's quite nice actually. Let's do it on the top as if it's the light. So I'm just ripping the fabric. You'll use your embroidery scissors. So I'm just going to cut a slither away. So although we've gone a little bit off piece this evening, it's nice to see something different. So we've added a little pink to our branch. I'll bring the camera in closer when I've done, yeah? And then we've got this wonderful flower. So I've now got, actually, in here, under here, 3 layers. I've got green, I've got light pink, and I've got a darker pink. So what we need to do is, I would suggest, and somebody may say different to me, and that's fine, you cut 1 layer at a time. So don't go gung-ho and cut. So we're going to reveal the green, because that's our top layer. Now you're going to have to forgive me for really hacking away at this, but needs must with the time that we've got. But it will give you an idea, won't it, of what you could achieve. Think about, now Alison did Kaffe fabrics on black, which, you know, I'm fed up with her because it looks beautiful. It's alright, she's a friend, I'm allowed to say that. And it looks beautiful. So you could have a bit of Kaffe under here, but you could have 2 or 3 layers of Kaffe, yeah? So then, okay, we've got the green. We don't want green. Let's get pink. So then we can go in again. Now, because I like the colours and because I like the idea of it, I'm not cutting the green away, merely trimming it back. It's a rough job. I was going to say somebody has to do it, but that's not what I mean. It's rough because I'm cutting quickly. Again, you could draw a line and follow the line. So you're not rushing like me, you're making a really cracking job of it. My job is just to show you something different, yeah? So those that aren't watching and think, oh, applique, that's not my cup of tea. Actually, I don't know how many things we've learnt over the last 3 days. It's incredible. Okay, so now we've got the blue, the green, the light pink, but we've also got a second layer. So let's have a look at that. And by golly, this is going to be outstanding. So we're just going to cut around there. And you know, I've told you you're going to cut this better. I make no apologies for my speed. Well, actually I am, but you know what I'm saying. I want you to get the gist. I'm just hacking away at it, which actually might suit people. They might think, oh, I love that raggedy look. Because people do. Some people can't bear the thought of it. Some people would be ill at the thought of a raggedy look. Not me. So there we've got that now. So we've got the blue, the green, the light pink, the dark pink, and then it's a reverse applique, Judith. And then you could come in with your designated centre. How good this circle will be is nobody's business except mine. It'll probably end up being a squoval. We'll see. It's going to be too big. Okay, let's still cut it down a bit. That was not too bad. Let's just cut it down a bit more. Okay. Right, so there we are. There you go. Now I want you to compare with traditional, beautiful, reverse applique. Stunning. You see, this suits me better. And I would, if I could be allowed, I would do the whole thing looking like that. But I won't, of course. But I thought it would be interesting for you to see it. And then, of course, you would machine this down. And you would machine where you cut away, because you don't want pockets. Because that might rip. I would stitch it down. Or glue it if you want. You could put a little piece of bondweb under there. Not bondweb. Yeah. You could put some glue under there. Some good fusible webbing. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, so there we are. So that is reverse applique. So while we've got 10 minutes, no, we've got 5 minutes. In fact, we've got no minutes. This is what I wanted to show you. Let me zoom in. It's a very old piece of applique, reverse applique, which I treated myself to not so long ago. So let's have a look at it. So this is needle turn. So this is your upper piece. So this green is the top piece, and then there's tiny little running stitches going around that follows the shape. Yeah. So this would have been cut with scissors. So this just would have been snipped in like this all the way around, and the edges, which are tiny, would have been tucked under and hand stitched. And I can see the hand stitching. I don't know if you can. And then all of these little stitches are done, and then look at this. This has all been, so it would just would have been cut, 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 and then this all turned back as needle turn, and the whole piece was done like that. Look at that. Look at that. So this light pink is the top layer. The dark pink is the second layer down. Stunning, isn't it? I forget what her costume piece. H. Mong. There's perhaps a name. Oh yeah, why there's a name for that, I don't know. I don't know where it's come from now. Could have been Tibet. Can't remember, but it's ancient. Yeah, I don't know how old, but that's my piece of treasure. And I look at that and think, who the heck did that? They must be crazy. They've probably got glasses like the bottom of milk bottles. Yeah, look at that. That's stunning, isn't it? So there we are. So that is our block for this evening, and I didn't put the bottom piece on, but I will, and then I'll take a photo. I'll take a photo. I'll take the tearaway stabiliser off the back as well. And then all of those two pieces will have been done. I meant to bring my big mat so we could see them side by side. I don't know if I can do it with my little mat. I'll give it a go. Let's pop a pin in, and then I won't keep you any longer. Let's just pop a pin in. They're not going to sit side by side, but it will give you an idea of what at least two blocks will look like. So let's just pop some pins in just to hold that. Quick, quick, quick. I don't know what that's going to look like. Oh, we've got that upside down. Never mind. We've got our upside down flowers there. Nice. Nice. Yeah, upside down. Can't get the staff. Right, that was part 4. I will see you tomorrow, same time, same place, for part 5, where we start that tall flower. The tall flower, that'll be interesting. So you need to cut your backing fabric 20.5 by 10.5 for your tall flower. Okay, and I will see you all tomorrow night. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. It's been an absolute treat. I've loved every second of it, and I hope you've learned something. See you soon. Bye.